All right, and we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the TBloom Talk Show. It is a big day because guess what? We're going to do the Week 2 matchups. We're going to go over every game this Sunday and possibly Monday night. We might do the Monday night game. Not sure yet. I'll let you know when we get there. But we're going to go through every game this Sunday. I'm going to give you my TBloom predictions for overs, unders, spreads, pick'ems, whatever you want to call it. TBloom's here to give you the guarantees. Now, I know last week I had a little bit of a struggle bus, and we'll go over that in just a sec. Well, actually, we already went over that last podcast. Go check it out. It's in my videos. Also, give you a link in the description. We're going to have JonesingforJones at the end of this podcast coming in. He's going to talk some college football, tell you everything that TBloom can't, and we'll also go over the TBloom or the T-New and T-Boo segment, the results of that, and obviously much, much more. So let's get right into it right now. Last night's game, Chargers versus Kansas City. I picked the Chiefs, and if you follow me on Twitter, not saying, and not trying to toot my horn here, but I called it. I tweeted last night. Let me bring it up. I might even throw that in the, you might even be able to get a little graphic here. Maybe I'll throw it up right there. Boom. We'll see. But if you follow me on Twitter, and if you don't, you can follow me at TBloom Talk Show, all one word. I tweeted last night, no locks for tonight, but the play for Thursday Night Football is under 53 points, which it was, with a KC win, which they did, but the Los Angeles Chargers to cover the +4 spread, and they did. Chiefs get the win 27-24. We possibly just watched the AFC Championship this year if for some miraculous reason the Steelers don't go, which I don't know why we wouldn't. But anyway, hell of a game last night. Patrick Mahomes looks good. Justin Herbert, I mean, that guy is a dog. Staying in the game, even though he's injured, even though it looks like he has something like a broken rib or something, staying in the game, delivering crazy passes, and just showing why he's that guy. Nonetheless, they couldn't get it done. Chiefs get the dub. What's new? Moving on, let's start with the shit bowl of the week. It happens usually one time a year. We get to see this shit of a game, the New York Football Jets versus the Cleveland Browns. Now, Joe Flacco is going to be playing this one. For those of you who don't know, I don't know why you wouldn't, Joe Flacco used to play in the AFC North. He used to play the Cleveland Browns two times a year. So he's very familiar with kind of how things go down in Cleveland. They're playing in Cleveland, so not an unfamiliar sight, to say the least, for Joe Flacco. On the other hand, you got Jacoby Brissett, who just came off a game-winning drive against the Carolina Panthers to spoil Baker Mayfield's revenge game, which I thought was going to happen the other way, but it didn't. Nonetheless, the shit bowl, I'm going to go the New York Jets taking the shit championship, but the Cleveland Browns will cover the -6.5 spread. That doesn't make any sense. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. T-Bloom's an idiot. How are they going to cover the spread if they lose? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Obviously, okay. Don't worry about the spread on that game. New York Jets will win. The under of 39.5 points will happen. Like I said, it's a shit bowl for a reason. This ain't going to be exciting. This ain't going to be fun to watch. I doubt it'll even be on TV for anybody in the nation. But that's okay, because it is the shit bowl of America. Stay tuned. But the Jets will take it. Next game, Miami Dolphins versus the Baltimore Ravens. Last year, the Miami Dolphins played the Baltimore Ravens. I believe it was on a Thursday night game. But Miami took it to the Baltimore Ravens, really gave Lamar Jackson fits. Lamar Jackson lost. The Baltimore Ravens lost. However, I think this time the Baltimore Ravens come back. They take the win. They cover the -3.5 point spread. But the over of 44.5 points does hit. I think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens really take it to the Miami Dolphins. Even though the Miami Dolphins did get the win last week, I don't think it was that impressive of a performance, and I think they still got a couple issues they need to work out. Ultimately, I think the Ravens will take this one. Next game, the Washington Commanders versus the Detroit Lions. Now, Detroit's coming off that loss against Philly. They did, however, manage to make it a game. So go Lions in that respect. Washington Commanders played a lesser of an opponent in the Jacksonville Jaguars. They managed to get the dub, though, but also almost lost. So not sure what to take away there other than Washington's not that much better than Detroit if Detroit's not better than them. I'm going to go Detroit here. They're going to win. They'll cover the -1.5 spread, and the under of 48.5 will hit. Now, I just seen on Twitter right now before I started this podcast that I believe the unders on each game for the NFL so far are 12-5. So the unders are hitting 12 of the unders have hit, and the over is hit 5 times. So interesting stats to say the least for betting odds. There's the trends. I know people love following trends for bets. I don't understand why. I mean, that's a whole nother topic that I'm not really too knowledgeable about. I'm not going to get into. But I'm going to go Detroit. They'll cover the -1.5 point spread, and the under of 48.5 will hit. It's a TBloom guarantee. I'm coming off a miserable performance in week 1. I'm hoping to get back on track today, this week, in week 2. Next game, Indianapolis Colts versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not going to overthink this one. I think the Colts are going to take it. They'll cover the -3.5 point spread. And who is that? Sorry, guys. I'm getting weird texts from weird people. Okay, stupid. Dentist appointment. Anyway, Indianapolis Colts are going to take it. -3.5 point spread, but the over of 45 points will happen. I think Jacksonville is just trying to be an elite offense, and they're going to let Trevor Lawrence live or die by the pass, and for good reason, you know. Really see what your still rookie quarterback has in him. Can he put up points with a less than average, or I'd say about average receiving core? They really don't truly have a number one outside of, I wouldn't even say, I say Christian Kirk's a number 2. I wouldn't put him at number 1, a number 1 receiver, but I'm going to go the Colts here. I think they get back on track. They really fumbled the ball against, who did they play last week? Oh, the Texans. Really fumbled that, literally, in every sense. Fumbled the ball multiple times. Gave up multiple red zone possessions and didn't come away with points. So, yeah, I think they get back on track here. Matt Ryan, number 2 quarterback in the league in terms of passing yards. I think he gets it done here. They get back on track. Next game, New England Patriots versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, do I even have to say it? Do I even have to say it? The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win this one. And I don't think that's my bias coming in at all. I think Pittsburgh just looked better, a more complete team last week. They just came off beating the former AFC champions, getting 5 turnovers on Joe Burrow, 7 sacks. I know we're missing TJ Watt, but 3 of those sacks came from Alex Highsmith, our other edge defender. We got Cameron Hayward still. We got Tyson Alualu. We'll be fine on we won't be as good, obviously, without TJ Watt, but I think we'll be just fine with our pass rush and making it hard for opposing quarterbacks to get the ball off, make reads downfield, and the whole 9. I'm going to go Pittsburgh. I think we have a +2 spread. Obviously, if we win, we cover that. And the under of 40.5 points will hit. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I don't even think it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be a close game. Patriots versus Steelers, 2 storied franchises. Fun fact, this is the first game since 1998 that either Tom Brady or Ben Roethlisberger will not be featured on one of these teams in this game. So, end of an era, to say the least. It was a hell of an era, but we're moving on. I mean, 1998, I was like 1 year old then, so this is going to be new for me to not see Brady or Ben out there in this game. Nonetheless, Pittsburgh's going to take it. I can see this being like a 19-13 game, or like a 16-9 game. Something weird. Not going to be a solid number, I don't think. Pittsburgh's going to take it. Next game, Carolina Panthers versus the New York Football Giants. New York came back and beat the Tennessee Titans last week. Saquon Barkley balled out. How long will that last? We'll see. Carolina, they almost had the dub last week against Cleveland. Baker Mayfield, he didn't look like complete garbage, but he looked like Baker Mayfield. And I think we all know it. After that week 1 performance, we know what we're getting with Baker Mayfield. He is who he is. He's nothing crazy. He's nothing terrible. But he's nothing spectacular either. I think Carolina takes it, which will cover the +2 spread that they have. It's weird that the Giants are the favorites in that game, just because they beat the Titans. Well, for fair reason. But yeah, I'm going to go Carolina, the underdogs. I think the under 43.5 is going to hit. I don't see very much points being put up by these offenses, not because the defense so much, but because the offenses aren't really that elite. You got, honestly, two offenses that rely solely almost on their running back situation. Christian McCaffrey for the Panthers, Saquon Barkley for the Giants. Rely solely on them to get it done. If they don't get it done, then not much is going to get done. But Carolina Panthers, next game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints. And for those of you who have been following football for the last 2-3 years, or whenever Brady came in, I believe this is his third year with the team. Yeah, it's his third year with the team. Then you've seen him struggle against the New Orleans Saints. For whatever reason, he just can't get done against them, no matter what quarterback's playing for the Saints. Brady, we know he has the off-the-field distractions. We don't know what it is. But yeah, I mean, is the guy fully invested? Putting up 19 against the Buccaneers, against the Cowboys last week. Not the best performance by any means. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and follow the trend here with New Orleans Saints beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've got it at home. It's a tough environment to play. Jameis Winston he didn't look amazing throughout the whole game, but the fourth quarter, I seen his stats. He had like 13 for 15, maybe 200 yards, 150 yards, and 2-3 TDs or something like that. Just absolutely gaudy numbers in the fourth quarter for Jameis Winston. And, I'm going to go ahead and say that Tampa Bay falls to the New Orleans Saints again. I think the New Orleans Saints will win, plus the 2.5. Under 45.5, though. I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle bus for both offenses, especially Tampa. I mean, the New Orleans D is pretty good. Tampa's D is not bad. We'll say it's going to be like 23-17 or something like that. Something around those edges. But, next game, Seattle Seahawks versus San Francisco 49ers. Story time. There was a time back in like 2013. You guys remember that era when Russell Wilson and Colin Kaepernick were the headpieces to the NFC West. They were the gatekeepers. If it didn't go through Seattle, then it went through San Francisco. Story goes, I have a friend named Nick who is a diehard Niner fan. We get tickets to the 2013, I believe, game. It was the same year where Richard Sherman batted the ball down to Michael Crabtree and gave the whole "You're Sorry" speech. It was that same year, but it was the regular season game where the Niners got absolutely throttled. I came in as a good friend with a Niners jersey on, next to my good bud Nick with a Niners jersey on, and we were like, 16 at the time, arguing with grown-ass adults about just anything that came up. I mean, we're getting shit on. I mean, cussed out left and right, and it was just a crazy environment. I loved it, though. It's exactly how it was when Pittsburgh came there. But I just wanted to share that story about how this rivalry has been just absolutely intense for the last amount of years. It's kind of fallen off as these teams, or as kind of the Seahawks have kind of dwindled down. I mean, the Niners are still relevant, but it's not as intense as it was, I feel like, back in the 2013 era. Needless to say, I'm giving the edge to San Francisco here. I think Seattle winning against Denver had more to do with Russ coming home and the hype behind that. I don't think Geno Smith's going to repeat his performance. But I could be wrong. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to be wrong, but I could be, but probably not. San Francisco is going to take this one. I think Seattle will still cover the plus 8.5 spread. Because I think San Francisco will win by like 5 points. And I think the over of 41.5 points will hit here. So if you're going to be a bettor, bet the over on this one. San Francisco's going to take it, though. Next game, Atlanta Falcons. Where's my... Okay. Atlanta Falcons versus the Los Angeles Rams. Not going to think too hard on this one. I think LA gets right back on track to that Super Bowl contendership team that we thought we were going to be seeing on last Thursday night against the Buffalo Bills. But Buffalo was just playing out of their mind, Josh Allen specifically. Nonetheless, I think Los Angeles comes back and takes it. I do think they cover the minus 10-point spread, but the over of 46.5 points will hit. Yeah, I just think, Matthew Stafford's going to get back on track here. They're playing against a team that is very capable of getting blown out, and they just might. I know Marcus Mariota and the Falcons played really well last week, and they almost got the dub against the Saints. However, that is a division game. In the NFC South, Falcons play the Saints tough. They always have, and they probably always will. But I just think this is going to be too much for the Falcons, and they're going to get blown out here away in Los Angeles. Which, by the way, there's never really, how do I put this? There's never really home field advantage for any LA team. It seems like the opposing team always has the advantage in fans, in crowd noise, and for whatever reason, maybe it's because there's not enough football fans in LA just yet, which I don't know how because they just won the Super Bowl. I don't know, but it seems like there's never home field advantage for LA. Who knows? Next game, Arizona Cardinals, Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to take the Raiders again. I know I took them last week in a last-ditch effort to be right. I should have stuck with my gut and picking the Chargers, but I didn't, and I'll take the L right on the dome. I don't care. I'm not one of these guys that's going to sit here and make excuses for why I lost. I lost. I was wrong. Guess what? TBloom's wrong. Will it happen again? Probably. But I guarantee you one thing, though. I'm going to be right more times than not by the end of the goddamn season, and that's why you keep coming back to the TBloom Talk Show. Las Vegas Raiders, they're going to win. However, Arizona will cover the plus 5.5 spread, and the over of 51.5 points will hit here. I think these two teams are going to put up points. Although Arizona does have their problems, they can put up points. They have a dynamic quarterback in Kyler Murray, no matter what you say about him. I mean, I think his time's ultimately coming to an end. But however, he's still fast. He's still athletic. He's still going to make things happen down the field. But I think Las Vegas is a more complete team right now as a whole. Devontae Adams and Derek Carr looked good. They're going to get the job done. Don't worry about it. But it will be a close game and a very exciting game. So you want to tune into that one unless your favorite team's playing at that time. Moving on. Houston Texans versus the Denver Broncos. Let's ride, Russ. Yeah, let's ride with whatever your coach decides to do. Even when it means he doesn't call a timeout with a minute whatever left and ultimately ruins the game for you guys. Or doesn't even give you a chance, really. Because there was no chance that field goal was going in. Anyway, Denver Broncos versus Houston. Not going to think about this one too much. I don't understand why the Texans are a 10-point underdog, though. I think Houston, the way they played the Colts, they're feisty. You know, they're going to stay in the game. They're going to stay in the game for as long as the game goes. And Denver, they didn't look very good at all. I mean, if you think about the projections of what the Seahawks are supposed to be, and they lost to them, and I know it was Russell's homecoming and all that emotion was involved, but I just don't think they looked like they should be a 10-point favorite against the Houston Texans, who looked like they are ready to compete. So I think Denver gets it. I think Houston covers the plus 10-point spread, but ultimately the under will hit, under 46 points. Both these offenses are just not there yet. I mean, Denver has all the makings to be an elite offense with the talent that they have. They're just not there yet. In Houston, we know David Mills. He's going to have his moments, but ultimately he's not the guy that's going to put up a lot of points for your team. And he'll keep you in it, but he won't win it. Denver's going to take this one at home. They'll get back on track. Next game, Cincinnati Bengals versus the Dallas Cowboys. You know, there's not too many games to overthink here. I mean, obviously, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. They just came off the loss against Pittsburgh. Shot at. Terrible towel right there. You know that thing was waving all fucking weekend. Excuse my language. Sorry, Uncle John. Yeah. Cincinnati's going to get back on track. They're going to cover the minus 7.5 point spread. And the over 41.5 will hit. I can see this game being about 30-10 easily. I mean, absolutely easily. But by halftime, I mean. Like, I don't think the Bengals are going to play around with this one too much. And now that Dak Prescott's out, I mean, who's their backup? Hooper? Or I think I would. Who even knows who it doesn't matter who the Dallas Cowboys backup is, personally. They're going to get blown out, and that's just is what it is. Yeah. Next game, Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. Again, Chicago is a 10-point dog in this one. Why? Packers didn't look really good at all. I mean, I guess in the past, the Packers have absolutely just throttled and dominated the Chicago Bears, but I mean, they didn't look that bad last week against the Niners, and the Packers didn't look that good last week against the Vikings. So I'm going to go ahead and take Green Bay to win. I think Aaron Rodgers gets back on track. However, I do think Chicago will cover the plus 10-point spread. And the over of 41.5 will hit here. I think both these teams, hopefully there's some good weather here because it is in Green Bay. So if there's good weather, that over is going to hit almost guaranteed because Justin Fields is going to put up points and Aaron Rodgers is going to put up points. I can see it being like a 27-20 ball game. Green Bay winning. Next game, we got the Tennessee Titans versus the Buffalo Bills. Now, these two teams have played each other multiple times over the past few years, a couple playoff games, and so these teams know each other very well. They're not in the same division, but they do know each other very well. Another questionable 10-point spread for the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee's a 10-point dog. How are these so many 10-point dogs? One of these is not going to hit, or most of them isn't going to hit, and it's hard to go for them. It's hard to sit there and say, yeah, this team's going to win by 10 points in an NFL game no matter who's playing. I'm going to pick Buffalo on this one. They just looked so good last week in Thursday Night Football. They beat the Super Bowl champs. Tennessee, they just gave up a fucking absolute crumble. They crumbled in the fourth quarter against the Giants. They let the Giants come back and beat them. However, I do think Tennessee will cover the plus 10-point spread. The under of 48.5 points will hit, though. It's not going to be it's going to be like a 20-17 ball game or 23-16 ball game. Something like that. Buffalo's going to win, and that's that. Next game, Minnesota Vikings, Philadelphia Eagles. This is going to be a good one. I'm glad it's the Monday. Oh, this is the Monday night. Oh, they have two Monday night games. That's right. So both these are the Monday night. Huh. Interesting. I wonder why they have that. Why there are two Monday night games. Anyway, Minnesota Vikings versus the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, and I actually have an opportunity to change these picks. I'm not going to change the Buffalo one just yet, but right now I'm going to roll with the Minnesota Vikings beating the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Minnesota Vikings had a much more complete performance last week against the Green Bay Packers. They played good D. Offense looked good. They opened it up a little bit. Minnesota's going to win. They'll cover the +2 spread, and the over 50.5 points will hit. I think both these teams are going to light up the scoreboard. Philly, yeah, I mean, what can you say about them? They almost just got, they almost let the Detroit Lions come back on them when they were up by like 3 possessions in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's not a good look for you. That's why I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings. It's a safer play, but ultimately it's going to be the play to make here. That's going to do it for the predictions. Really short and sweet for you this week. I don't want to, put too much out there. I'm pretty sure about these picks. There's a couple of them, wishy-washy. The shit bowl, for example, the Jets versus the Browns. I mean, that's a Thursday night football game waiting to happen right there. I don't know why they don't just throw that on the Prime. And what are your guys' thoughts on Thursday night football being on Prime video only? What are you doing there? Like, as a football community, how are you going to make, and there's a lot of old people out there, and I don't want to seem ageist or whatever, or, whatever the term may be, but you got a lot of old people out there, like my dad, who don't know what the fuck Prime Video is from a Netflix or a Hulu or a fucking Peacock. They don't know. And you're going to tell them that they can only watch the Chargers versus Chiefs, which is a hell of a game. Hell of a game. I mean, people are probably looking forward to that for weeks. And you're going to tell them, hey, your cable that you pay $200-something a month for isn't going to be able to display this game. In fact, you got to go and download an app. And in fact, you got to sign up your account. And in fact, you got to put your card information on that account in order to watch this game. It's fucked up. It's fucked up, NFL. That's fucked up. That's bullshit. You need to think again about doing that to the older generation of football fans that all they want to do is come home, crack open a beer after a long, hard day at work, and watch the goddamn Chiefs-Chargers play. Get it together, NFL. That's going to do it for my segment of this week's, or this Saturday podcast, my predictions for Week 2 NFL. Up next, we got Jonesing for Jones coming in hot. He's going to tell us a little bit about his college football picks, a little bit about what's going on in the college football world, because you know TBloom just can't. I can't keep up with it all. I got my mind here. I got my mind there. I mean, I need some help. Jonesing for Jones. He's going to come in just now. Stay tuned. Stay ready. Anyway, bud, welcome to another episode. Glad to have you back. I mean, crazy football game last night. I mean, let's just get into that first. Thursday night football. We knew that this was going to be an offensive battle. Yeah. And potentially maybe even the AFC Championship game in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch much of it because I was at work, unfortunately, but I did watch a decent part of the second half. And, I mean, God, Justin Herbert. If between Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes, any other era those three guys were in, they would probably be the best quarterback in the league. And it's crazy how they're all three in the league at the same time right now.
It's pretty remarkable. I mean, Justin Herbert, let alone, what he was able to do with no offensive line. I mean, they were just letting him get popped the whole game. It was pretty embarrassing. But some of those throws he was making was just beyond impressive. It was Patrick Mahomes-esque. I mean, I thought the Chiefs were going to lose early on, but Patrick Mahomes was just different. I was harping on him for taking that $500 million contract because I've always been anti big contracts for one player because you can't fill out your roster. But, I mean, he's been able to just still ball out with a weaker offensive line and not as many talented wide receivers. So it's been cool.
Yeah, and speaking of receivers, I mean, where the fuck is Juju Smith-Schuster at? Because
exactly. He isn't doing anything. I was expecting him to ball out.
Yeah, I mean, he's not necessarily your typical Chiefs receiver. I mean, I guess he's not Tyreek Hill. So I wasn't expecting him to do crazy numbers, but, I mean, they're not even targeting him, it seems like.
Yeah. I was expecting him to show up at least. I mean, it feels like he's just a decoy.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. I mean, definitely doesn't feel like the same Juju that Juju's rookie or sophomore year he played with Pittsburgh. I mean, he just might be done.
I mean, yeah, they all have a shelf life, so maybe it's his time.
Could be. Yeah, I mean, could be. But I did want to talk about what's his name, Justin Herbert. He looked like he had some sort of rib injury. And I don't know why they kept him in the game. They were down by 10 with 3 minutes left. And then it looks like it's all but over. Then he throws a dime down
on
the
fourth
seam.
Down.
Yeah, on fourth down when it looked like he could barely throw the ball 10 yards. And it's just right on the money to, I forget the receiver's name, but brings him back, gives him at least a chance there at the end. And then the onside kick, the Chiefs muffed
I thought
it.
They got it.
Yeah, I was like, you got to be shitting me.
Yeah.
But no, hell of a game, exciting game. I'm not gonna lie. On Twitter, I did. I always make my Thursday night predictions, and I did say the Chiefs would win. Chargers would cover the plus 4 point spread, and the under would hit of 53 under 53 points, and it did. So don't mean to toot my own horn, but it is what it is. Yeah. But yeah, so when they scored that touchdown, I was pretty pumped because that covered the spread.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs still won.
But, I'm still high on the Chargers though. If Herbert is relatively healthy the rest of the way.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to come out in the injury status for him. I wonder if that was a rib injury or it's got to be a rib injury.
He was also he was pointing right here too, so it could be like a sternum thing. I don't know if that's where the sternum is, dude. I'm not a medical dude.
Yeah, I think that is the sternum. Yeah, he was fucked up for sure. But
he was getting popped.
Power of adrenaline. Yeah, hell of a game. Let's get into a little bit of college football. Again, I know I said I was gonna buckle down this year, watch some college football on Saturday. However, I did work last Saturday, so I wasn't able to watch as much as I wanted.
Yeah.
But let's start off with this Texas versus Alabama game.
I told you it was going to be a little close for a while. I didn't think it was going to be that close, but I think Texas would have won if Quinn Ewers was healthy. If their quarterback doesn't go down in the first quarter, Texas would have beat Alabama, which is crazy to think about, especially how I was thinking the game was going to go. And that really shows, I talked about it on my last episode, Alabama's not as much of a force as people were going to think. I mean, they always really have been something lethal. but now they seem beatable to everyone. Like no one's going in there fearing Nick Saban and fearing Alabama anymore. So it's interesting.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was following it on my phone, and I was just like, yeah, I was because like you said on the last podcast, it's gonna be close up until about the fourth quarter, and I was waiting for that that pull away that Alabama
Yeah.
usually does, and it just never happened. And I was like, holy shit, am I gonna get Jones for Jones to come on and explain to me what the hell just happened? Texas beating Alabama, but I mean, it got us into being ranked. I think we're 21 right now.
Yeah, you're ahead of A&M now.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah,
Next, so
trust
you
me, I
got
got plenty to say on that.
yeah, you got the dub on there. You picked Alabama overall, so you're 1-0 there. Next game was Tennessee versus Pitt. Tennessee won 34-27. Did you watch any of that game? Did you see kind of what happened?
I did. I got back from the A&M game, and I saw it. I saw
Okay.
most of it, at least the fourth quarter and overtime.
Oh, this went to overtime?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it
Okay.
went to overtime. In Tennessee, man, I told you. I mean, they're a fun offense to watch. They're really fast paced, and it reminds me a little bit how that Oregon team was in like the 2000s with Chip Kelly and Marcus Mariota and
Oh,
some of
really?
those teams.
That's
Like
how
just
they
how
play?
how fast they play. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Play schemes are different. It's not really RPO, but
Right.
it's fast like that,
Like
which can
on the
harm your
ball type
yeah.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it can harm your defense in the long run, but so far it's working, and it's a really cool culture because they're bringing in one of the best quarterbacks in the nation next year or the year after. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
So they're only going to get better.
Oh, fucking Tennessee. See, I need to I work this Saturday too. You know what? I'm gonna make it my mission to watch at least one of these ranked teams play because I just need to. So Tennessee got the dub, 34-27. You picked that. That's 2-0 for you so far. Now let's move on to the Florida versus Kentucky. What the fuck happened?
Yeah, I mean Anthony Richardson. I was really high on him week one. He played Utah, number 7 team in the nation, and he
Mm-hmm.
balled out like a Heisman candidate. And then he plays this week or last week now, and he just completely it was a dud. Like he was misreading wide receivers. It was bad. That's been his issue since his freshman year, but I thought it was finally solved. But the inconsistencies are his problem. Like he'll have a great game, then he'll come out against a subpar team and play down to his opponent.
Mm.
And that's kind of been his issue. So if he wants to get to the NFL, he can't have those. You can't you can't do that in the league.
So is this his sophomore year then?
I think it's his sophomore or no, it's his redshirt sophomore year, I'm pretty sure, or it's just his pure junior year. So he's eligible for the draft.
Eligible for the draft. Yeah, I mean that's what comes with young players is playing down to your competition. Um, like I said, I don't know much about Florida football, but I do know like youth that tends to come with quarterbacks, and they were just young teams overall. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, I mean Kentucky. I mean, was Kentucky? Did Kentucky show some maybe that they're a little bit better than people originally anticipated, or
Yeah, I think so. Their quarterback is another guy that'll probably get drafted this year too. I mean, Levis is he's a good quarterback. I mean, I have nothing against him, but the team just was more physical than Florida.
mm-hmm,
So I mean, the SEC is just a physical brand of football. It's different. I mean, if you were at home and you watched a Big Ten game versus watching an SEC game, you'll see a big difference.
right?
So I mean, it's just physical football, and Kentucky just beat them in the trenches. And if you win at the line of scrimmage in the SEC, you're going to win a lot more games.
So Kentucky's SEC.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, I didn't know that. Shows how much I fucking know about college football. Um, all right, so Florida didn't get the dub there. That brings you to 2-1.
Yeah.
Texas, now let's just go for it. Texas A&M versus App State. I mean,
I did say they were going to struggle, but I did not
you
think
did.
it
No,
was.
you did. Yeah. I listened back to it last night. You did say it wasn't gonna be super easy.
Yeah, App State, they have a great offense, but I thought we were going to struggle through 3 quarters. And then I thought we have more talent. We were going to pull it out. I mean, I was in the stands. I went to go get a iced lemonade. It was so hot. And I ended up just sitting next to this dude that was like class of 74. And he was like, "This is the worst I've ever seen. I'm sorry." And so he's seen some A&M football.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just sitting there and I just kept waiting. I was like, I know we're playing horrible and we don't deserve to win, but we're gonna find a way, right? Like this is App State.
Right.
Just pull it out. I
Yeah.
mean, just win. but we just looked horrible. And I haven't seen us look that bad and since I've watched A&M football at least, but it was just like Haynes King dropped the ball like 3 times. I think he had like 3 fumbles and he should have had 4 or 5, like dropping the ball in a handoff.
Wow.
He only went deep 1 time. And for our offense to only have 7 points total, the other 7 was on a kick return for a touchdown. And for the time of possession, for us to only have like 15 minutes time of possession, they had almost 40. They had the ball the whole game. They were just controlling the clock and they manhandled us. And that's you can't do that.
Do you think this was more of a App State's a little bit better than people thought, or Texas A&M isn't as say good as people thought, or what do you think this
It's a
was?
little bit of an in between because I think App State is a good football team,
Mm-hmm.
but they shouldn't be able to compete with any SEC school, let alone somebody that's supposed to be the number 6 team in the country. So yeah, I don't think A&M is as good. I don't think they should have been ranked number 6 in the country. We're still young and we don't even have our quarterback situation figured out. We just switched to Max Johnson now. But I hope it's a wake up call because I see this week it's sold out versus Miami. And I mean, I got tickets, but I only got standing room only tickets. So like
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be packed out. It will probably break the record for attendance. It's gonna be 100,000 plus. And I think it's gonna change. Hopefully it's a wake up call. This new quarterback comes in and we ball out and we'll look weeks from now and be like, that was not the same team, you know?
Right. Yeah. 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 And I also want to touch on because I was watching one of your podcasts. I don't know if it was the second episode or the first, but you mentioned how college football fanship. It's not about you know picking a team or growing
Yeah.
up as your favorite team. It's more about
Yeah.
what college did you go to. And
Right.
you said you grew up a Georgia fan. You mentioned on the podcast when you guys won the Natty. It was emotional time for you and your family. Are
For
you
sure.
going forward going to be a Texas A&M fan from now on? Is that how it's going to
I
be?
mean, I'll always be a dog. I'll always, for the rest of my life, I'll have that part. I grew up 18 years of my life. Going to games and my parents live and die by that stuff. So I'll always be that. But at the end of the day, if I graduate from Texas A&M, I'm an Aggie. So I'll always be a dog. I'm not going to cheer against Georgia, but I'm always going to be an Aggie. It's going to be interesting though, because my junior year, Georgia comes here. My parents.
Oh,
So that'll be interesting. It'll be hard, but I got cheer for my school.
yeah. No, I thought that was an interesting perspective on college sports in general because you don't really get that with NFL because no one, oh, I went to the, Arizona or I played for the Arizona Cardinals or my
Yeah.
family, that's
Yeah.
not a thing. It's kind of cool that you touched on that. So I appreciate that perspective on that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Texas A&M versus App State. Texas A&M got the loss. That brings you to 2-2.
Yeah.
Baylor versus BYU. You picked Baylor.
Yeah.
20-26. BYU won. What the hell happened in that game?
That was a late night game. BYU definitely surprised me. I think they're going to also lose this week, but we can touch on that later. But BYU, they surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch a lot of it. It was definitely the game started at like 10 something. So I was tired. I didn't watch the whole thing, but
Right. Yeah.
Baylor, I don't know. I think they should have got it done, but BYU showed up that day. So that's really all you can do.
Yeah, it's for most of these games. They're a bunch of ranked teams going against ranked teams. It's good that there is elite. There was no blowouts here. It doesn't seem like the Florida versus Kentucky game. That's within 10. Tennessee versus Pitt. That's within 6, 7. And then Baylor versus BYU. That's within 6. So it
Yeah.
seems like a bunch of good games that happened over this Saturday.
Yeah, it was.
Um, any other games that you wanted to touch on that you thought were pretty fun to watch, or anything worth
Last
mentioning?
week, obviously I'm a Georgia guy, so I'm going to keep up with how they did, but they played Samford. It was 33-0. But I talked about, I was talking with my mom because I was really upset on the way back from the A&M game. Like, we were just talking about it back and forth. And me and her were like, there's levels to it. Like, there's levels to college football. So Georgia, the difference is they're playing a subpar opponent and they shut them out and they have their third string quarterback in the second half. Okay.
Wow.
There's levels to it. And then we host Appalachian State and we're struggling the whole game and don't even win. So that shows the difference between a national championship team and a team that's just trying to get there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, shit. They bring in their third string quarterback in the
And
second half.
he's a 5-star. So it's like
Oh, it's
there's
okay.
there's so many like our Georgia's starting quarterback is a former walk on. He
Mm-hmm.
won a national title. Former walk on. He's starting. He's like 26 years old. He's really old at this point. He's been in because of the COVID thing. He can play multiple years or more than four.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still there. But then behind him is a 5-star from Mandarin, and then behind him is a 5-star from I think he's from Athens, and then
Just
another
stacked.
5-star. So they're just for years to come, and that
Yeah.
equals to it.
That reminds me, fucking, I can't wait for Arch Manning to come to Texas, dude. I was so excited when I
Yeah,
seen that.
yeah, he'll definitely bring some money in. That's for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. He'll definitely bring some money and some fucking maybe a couple games that wouldn't be on TV that are on TV. Who
Yeah.
knows? What's the weather like over there? You said it was hot at Texas A&M. Is it still hot as shit over there in Texas right now?
Yeah, yeah, it's hot. It's pretty humid. I mean, that's the issue here. It's
Mm-hmm.
the humidity because it rains all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it won't like rain all day. It's not Seattle, but it'll rain for like 10 minutes and then it won't rain and then it'll rain 5 hours from now for 10 minutes. It doesn't make sense, but so it's always humid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that fucking southern heat, dude.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I could ever just live in the South, especially being from Washington, man. It just rains all the time.
Yeah.
But all right, so overall, you went 2-3. We're gonna
Not
give you another opportunity. We're gonna get back on track here. I got
let's
5
do
games in front of my face staring at me.
it. Alrighty.
Get some predictions. First
Alrighty.
one, BYU, number 12, at Oregon, number 25.
I'm gonna go against BYU again, man. I'm going Oregon.
You
I mean,
going Oregon?
yeah, Oregon laid an egg the first week, and people kind of wrote them off, but they also did play Georgia. They looked better last week, so I think BYU kind of has a hangover game after winning a late night one against Baylor, and Oregon goes in there and beats them.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Oregon's funny because they're always ranked. It seems like at the beginning of the season,
Yeah,
and then they just kind of slowly trickle away. At least it seems like that for the last couple of years. I may be wrong, but that's just my
yeah,
perspective. Like
they
Pac-12
definitely,
football.
yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. All right. So you got Oregon over BYU. Next week, let's go Miami, number 13, at Texas A&M. Does Texas A&M get back on track here?
I think we get back on track and we show some people what we can really be. I hope we make some adjustments. I hope Jimbo changes up the offense that hasn't really changed in years.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we get back on track. The 12th man is going to show up. I'll tell you that. If
The
you have
12th.
time,
See, when people say 12th man, I think of the Seahawks. Growing up here. But so the 12th man, did that originally start in Texas A&M? Is that a Texas
yeah,
A&M thing? Okay.
it's an A&M thing because it was like 1800. I don't know what it was early in the school's thing, and there was a someone in the stands. It's a long story, but
Okay.
he went onto the field. He was the 12th man, and now it's a tradition forever. So we're the 12th man, but it's going to show up if you have time. 8 o'clock. I don't know what time it'll be for you, but 8 o'clock game here.
On Saturday.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're 2 hours ahead. So that'll be 6 p.m. So I'll be off by then. So yeah, I should be able to watch that.
you'll just watch the stadium, bro, or just like feel the environment. Turn your TV up. You'll tell it's different. It's different than even Seattle.
Okay, that's gonna be dope. I mean, yeah, Miami. That's the U, right?
Oh yeah, they're the U at
They're
night.
back to 13 in the nation.
Yeah, they had a good start, and they have Cristobal from Oregon, former coach.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, always cool to see the U back on, in a competitive pace.
Yeah,
But we got Texas A&M over Miami. Next
yeah,
one, number 22 Penn State at Auburn. I picked this one because there wasn't another, 2 ranked teams, but I saw Auburn 2-0, an
yeah.
SEC school, right?
They are.
So you got to think they're going to play Penn State tough, right?
It's going to be at Auburn, right? Because they were at Penn State
Yep.
last year.
Yep.
Yes,
It's at
at
Auburn.
Auburn. Penn State beat them last year. It was at Penn State. I don't know. I haven't really looked into Auburn a lot this year. I know that our former quarterback's there from A&M. He's like a third string guy now, but I don't know. I like Auburn a lot, but I don't know. I'm gonna say Auburn. I'm gonna go Auburn. I'm gonna stay with the
Go
SEC.
Auburn.
I'm gonna stay with the SEC, man.
Let's do it. Let's get the upset, Auburn. Where's Penn State? Is that Big Ten?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm learning. Just get
Look at you. Yeah.
just one step at a time. One step at a time. Okay, so we got 3 home teams winning it. Next one,
Give it to me.
we got our arch rival, both me and you. We share the
Uh,
same rival, Texas Tech at
okay.
NC State. Maybe an easy one because Texas Tech. I mean, I think they're 2-0, but
Yeah, Texas Tech won last week. They beat Houston, so that was a big game for them. I'm trying to check it out right now. I have it next to me. That's hard, dude. I'm gonna say
Yeah, this is what we want. We want to grill you a little bit.
I know I'm gonna say NC State, even though I think Texas Tech will give them a game, and I think
Hmm.
it'll actually be enjoyable to watch. But I'm gonna say NC State in the end.
NC State pulls it out. Number six. Where's NC State? Is that Big Ten?
No, they're in the ACC.
ACC. So does it go SEC, Big Ten?
I'd probably say that it used to be the ACC, not anymore. They fell off.
So would it go after that ACC or Pac-12?
I would say Pac-12 and then ACC. ACC is dropped off. Other than Clemson,
What?
maybe
Clemson's not SEC?
no.
Oh man, I
Yeah,
thought I could have swore just because of how competitive they usually are.
yeah.
Hmm. The more you learn. All right, so NC State taking over or beating Texas Tech. Fuck Texas Tech. We both can share that. Um, Michigan State, number 11 versus University of Washington. This
I'm
might be
saying
an easy one. I mean,
yeah. I'm going Michigan State here.
okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like their coach a lot. He's the coach of Georgia, so he's definitely bringing another culture to Michigan State. I like Michigan State.
Hmm. They're usually just a solid school, no matter what. Honestly, no matter what sport, basketball, football, they usually got a solid program.
They do.
Yeah, that just brings me. I'm so pumped for March Madness, man. I absolutely.
I
I
love
don't
it.
watch much college basketball, but when March Madness happens, I'm like, doing all the research and filling out
Oh
the
yeah,
bracket. Yeah,
that's a
awesome.
holiday. Man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the whole month. The whole month.
Yeah.
All right, so we got all your picks. You got four home teams winning it, one away team winning it. Let's see if we can get back on track here.
Yeah. See, at least get a winning record this week, man. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna. I can't be going 2-3 like that.
Yeah, dude, we got it. We need results, man. All right. Come on.
No.
All right. So what you did do good on though, the T new or T boo week one results. Let's go over them. Number one was I picked Atlanta to cover the 5.5 spread. You gave me a T new on that.
Yeah.
They covered.
Yeah. Saints pulled through though, but
Saints did pull through. Did you see Jameis Winston's fourth quarter stats?
uh-uh.
I think he went 13 for 15, 136 yards and like two TDs or something like that. Just stupid numbers. Stupid
I love
numbers.
Jameis. I've loved Jameis for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely he he's what's the right word? Matured a lot since his Tampa days in his
Yes.
in his decision making. And I think maybe a lot of that's come from, standing behind Drew Brees for a year. And
Yeah.
yeah. But
That'll
yeah,
teach you a lot, yeah.
yeah, it's always nice to be able to, a guy like Drew Brees, which,
All the time.
so on Instagram, I posted a that Aaron Rodgers thing and fucking people commenting because it obviously didn't
Oh,
age
I
well.
saw those, yeah.
Yeah. fucking, but there's a debate. People were saying that Drew Brees is better than Aaron Rodgers, which to me, I don't think it's a wide gap, but I think it's obvious that Aaron's the better quarterback. What is your stance on that?
I think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback for sure. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've never been super high on Drew Brees, but it's also because towards the end of his career, he was dwindling away. I think he should have left earlier.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to force it. So it's all about, my parents have always told me, man, it's about how you start and it's about how you finish. You finish the right way. So if you finish and you're fading away, people's recency bias is going to kick in. So what I saw from the last few years of his career was just can't even get the ball downfield,
Mm-hmm.
injured, and it's not the same Drew.
Yeah,
So
no,
I'm Aaron Rodgers.
and kind of like Ben Roethlisberger too. I mean, his last
Yeah,
2 years, even though he went undefeated that year, I mean, it's just a shell of himself. It's kind of sad to see.
yeah. You leave when you're on top. You don't leave when people just want you to leave.
Yep. But anyway, so we started off 1-0 there, both you and me, 1-0 right there.
That was a good call.
Second one, we had Well, I said Carolina was going to win. You gave me a T new on that one. They ended up losing, but they had a chance there at the end if it wasn't for a goddamn Jacoby Brissett game-winning drive, which
Yeah,
I mean that might be his only game-winning drive ever.
probably the last one too.
Yeah, I'm like, God damn, we almost had it.
I
But
know. Yeah, Baker played well. I mean, it was
mm-hmm.
kind of like he played well. He did what we were expecting him to do, but they didn't end up winning in the end. So
Right. I mean, and fucking the Browns. I feel bad for Nick Chubb, man, because that guy. I mean, no one ever gives him the credit as being possibly the best running back in the game.
he's
Maybe
good.
he's not, but he's not that far away from Derrick Henry or Jonathan. I almost said Jonathan Stewart. Uh,
Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
close, man. He's a quiet dude though. He's always been quiet.
mm-hmm. And then you got Kareem Hunt behind him. It's just a lethal running game there in Cleveland.
That helps Brissett out a lot because I mean he doesn't have to be a hero.
Yeah, not at all. And then when he does, he actually came through. But we got the L on that one, so that moves both of us to 1-1. Now this is where me and you start getting different opinions here.
Uh,
I had Detroit winning.
yep,
You gave me the T-Boo,
yeah.
and for
But
good
either
reason
way,
because yeah, I mean they almost got blown out, and somehow they made it a game.
they
I
did that
mean,
last year too. They just got to figure that out. I mean, they can go on runs, but they can't really finish any games. But I think give them another year, and they'll be able to finish some of those games.
right. But yeah, so that brings you to 2-1. I'm at 1-2. Number 4, Pittsburgh winning, man. Got the dub in Cincinnati.
Dude.
When I tell you I went through 7 different emotional states. Like I went through a whole season's worth of emotions, like
Yeah.
in that game alone. I thought we lost at least 7 times. I thought we
Mhm.
won at least 7 times. I mean, it was a great way to open up week 1.
Absolutely. That defense is different. I talked about that on this episode too.
Mm-hmm.
They're single-handedly, they won that game. I mean, they turned
Easily.
Joe Burrow over 5 times.
Yeah.
So that's kind of shame on Trubisky, dude. You can't have that many opportunities and barely pull through in overtime with a field goal. I mean, and
Yeah.
they should have lost too. If you lose
No, yeah, we definitely
within
should have
five,
lost. Yeah.
yeah, it's just I put Pickett in. I think you're right with that statement
Dude, and it looks like Mitch is trying to do just enough
to keep his job.
just to keep his job. It doesn't
Yeah,
look like, he's not trying to force the ball, make any, 50-50 balls to receivers that might go his way, that might not. He's just doing enough that to where they don't bench him and that he
yeah,
doesn't lose the game, which, in some cases may be good against teams who aren't very good. But when you play the Bengals, you gotta put up points, man.
yeah. It's gonna be hard to force another five on Burrow when you play him again.
Yeah, and then we just lost T.J. Watt for 6 weeks. Thank God, not for the whole year. I mean, he's gonna have to put up points. He's gonna have to put up points, and
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. But we both got the dub there, so that brings me to 2-2, and you to 3-1.
Yep.
Yep. Number 5, I picked Las Vegas to win. You gave me the T-Boo on that one. You were high on the Chargers. Good shit. You got it.
Yep.
Um,
They play well.
yeah, the Chargers. I mean, Las Vegas, man. I mean, Derek Carr. I have a Raider friend, and he said that there was a lot of questionable throws and a lot of decision-making errors on Derek Carr, but I think that him and Devontae Adams like almost picked up right where they left off out of college. Like it was just, to come
Yeah.
out first game, first team, 10 receptions, a buck 60 or whatever, and a TD. I
Yeah.
mean, I think he's the best receiver in the league.
He's definitely up there. He was a basketball guy, so his how he's able to like get off on the jump and his releases they remind me a lot of basketball. Every time I see him do it, it's a crossover, it's between the legs. That's what
Yeah,
it looks
he's
like.
real
That's
shifty.
just
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's the way I process it. Like I see him moving like that, and that's how I see it. So
Mm-hmm.
he's always been that way, and that helps in the NFL. If you can get off and they can't jam you, you can do anything you want.
Yeah. So yeah, but that moves you to 4-1, dude. So let's give Jones a round of applause for his 4-1
Thank
performance
you.
on the T New or T Boo week 1 results. I went 2-3, not my best performance. I actually was wrong on a lot of predictions. So I predicted all the games and stuff. I was like 5-10 or something like that. It was
It
bad
happens.
week 1, bad week 1.
Happens.
But new segment of T New or T Boo. And by the way, I got a question. I mean, out of 10, how would you rate the whole T New or T Boo? Like, is that out of
I like it.
yeah?
I
Because I
like
got
it.
another one. I got another one.
What's the other
Let me
one?
pitch it to you. I forgot it. I wrote it in my notes. Oh shit, we got 10 minutes. We'll make it happen. That's no problem.
We always do. We always find a way.
No doubt. Okay. Okay, so T-rific or
Oh,
T missed it?
I like T new and T boo.
T
It's
new T
quick.
okay, okay, cool. We'll do another round. We'll keep that the segment for another week. Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna just keep thinking of them though, because
All right.
T Boo just I don't know. But anyway, first game. I got New Orleans over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm gonna say 2-0. I'm gonna go with you on that one. I mean, I like New Orleans. I told you that a few times now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think they're going 11-12.
Yeah, and
I
they
don't know, 11.
they beat Tampa. I mean, Brady has struggled against Tampa since he's came, or Brady has
Yeah.
struggled against New Orleans since he's came to Tampa. And I don't know if you watched that Monday or that Sunday night game, but they didn't look very lethal.
No, I mean Dallas has a very good defense, but
Mm-hmm.
they only put 19 points up on the board. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't. I'm not too high on it. I think Tom Brady should have left as well. I talked about that. He's 45 years old. He's the only man in America I know that would rather get hit by men instead of spend the rest of his life with a supermodel. So I don't. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know why he made that decision. He's 45, dude. What else could
Yeah,
you do?
you have 7 Super Bowls, dude. Just fucking,
Yeah,
ride off in the sunset.
exactly. If he gets 8, he's still the GOAT. Like
Yeah,
we don't.
yeah. Like you did it, Tom. Like you did it. Good job.
We know you can throw the ball well. Like
Yeah, yeah. That's a funny. He's the only guy in America that you feel like would rather get hit by men than go home to Giselle. I
yeah,
wonder. Do you think that is? I don't want to speculate. We'll save that. I don't like talking about people's personal life like that. But
yeah, I agree.
hopefully things are good over there in Brady land. All right. Number two, I got Minnesota beating Philly.
Okay, I think Philly has a little bit of a drop off. I mean, going from playing Detroit, but I like Minnesota a lot. So that's a very hard one. I'm gonna agree. I think Minnesota is gonna win it.
Okay.
We're on the same page so far.
Yeah. Minnesota, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, the Packers offense looked like shit. But
Yeah,
Minnesota kind of surprised me a little bit with
they're revamped. This new coaching staff's got them throwing it a lot more. Justin Jefferson's reaping the benefit.
dude, fucking I was watching it. Justin Jefferson had like 3 catches where he's just wide the fuck open. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
how do you let that guy just come alive wide open?
yeah.
Like let Adam Thielen beat you or Jalen Rager or something, not Justin Jefferson. I mean, 2 years now he's been number 1 in the league or around that. Yeah. It's remarkable some of these or these errors that NFL teams make. But
You would think it would just be common knowledge, but it's easier said than done.
right, I
Justin
know that
Jefferson.
we as we sit here in our chairs and are
Yeah.
really easy to say. But I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I'm baffled. But so we're both on the same page so far. Number three, Panthers over the Giants.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
That's simple. I'm not a huge Giants guy. That's probably just from being a Cowboys fan, but
Oh
I,
yeah.
I don't really believe too much in Daniel Jones. I know he's had a bad rap. He's had now 3 coaches in 3 years or something crazy like that. So
Yeah.
he hasn't been developed, but I don't like the Giants too much. They got way too high on a week 1 win to
Yeah.
be able to.
What a collapse by Tennessee. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Saquon looks good though. He looks back.
But how long will he be healthy? That's the issue. I mean,
Yeah.
he's looked good before. Will he make it through all 17?
Yeah, especially when he's like the only guy on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're three for three right now. Now this one is where it's going to get. Well, maybe you'll take it on this one. Baltimore over Miami. Now, if you remember last year, they had a Thursday night game, and Miami pulled out the upset over
Yep.
Baltimore, and I think that was like a what? It's like a 6-0 game or a real low scoring game, but
I
they
remember
really
that. Yeah.
really gave Lamar fits. But yeah, I got Baltimore coming back, beating Miami. What do you think?
I'm gonna say Miami.
Go
I'm
Miami.
I'm gonna try to switch it up on you. I like
Aha, nice, nice, nice.
people don't. I mean, people are hating on Tua. I mean, I get it. He had some bad throws last week too, but I think him and Tyreek are gonna gel more, and I like Waddle. So I think Miami's gonna win.
What do you think of their performance against New England?
I think New England has one of the worst rosters in the league, but
Yeah.
so not too much to say. But I think you got to get Tyreek the ball more and not. He threw him too many hospital balls, in my opinion. I mean, there was one throw where he threw it up in the air and Tyreek just got pummeled. So you can't do that to your best receiver.
Mm-hmm.
You see Patrick Mahomes. I had my friend ask me last night. He's like, why did Patrick Mahomes like throw the ball at the ground? It looked like, but it was on purpose. He instead of having your receiver get sandwiched between 2 dudes, have him go low and get the catch.
Yeah.
So I mean, some quarterbacks still have to realize that. Tom Brady does that. Aaron Rodgers does that. The best quarterbacks do that. You
Right.
can't set your receivers up to just get pummeled.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of probably what separates a lot of from the greats from just the
Yeah,
Tuas.
for sure.
All right, so we got a disagreement there. I like it. I like it. All right. Now, last one. Now, this is kind of a shit show. Detroit over Washington.
Both teams are horrible. I hate
Yeah.
Carson Wentz with a passion. He's so bad. But uh, dang, dude, you're reading my mind now. We're gonna be too similar. I'm trying to make this more entertaining with being different, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's hard. I'll say Washington just to be different
I
from
mean, this
you.
is a fucking toss up. I mean, who knows who's going to win this? But
The
I'm
Cowboys,
hoping Detroit, they played a tougher opponent last week and they almost won. Maybe they can beat Washington, but at the same time, I mean, it would be Detroit esque to come into Washington and get absolutely throttled.
yeah, I'll say Washington. I'll
You'll go
switch that
Washington? Okay.
a little different.
All right. Awesome. I mean, are there any games that you're excited about? I mean, what do you think about the Dallas Cowboys? We got 3 minutes here. What do you think about Dallas Cowboys situation? Do you think it's going to be detrimental to their playoff run, or what's
I
going
mean,
on?
they're playing Cincinnati. They're going to lose this week, I think. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Burrow's going to be upset. And yeah, we have a good defense too, but I don't see him having 5 turnovers. We can only score 3 points against Tampa. So I don't know. I don't see us winning that game. But I want us to try and trade for Jimmy Garoppolo or somebody of that nature
Ooh,
because I mean, why just completely forfeit another season? Then Zeke will be 1 year older.
yeah.
Why not try and go for it? Zeke hasn't looked this healthy in years. I know we don't have
He
as many.
looked good, dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
he looked a lot more Zeke-ish, like his
yeah,
first year and his second year than I was anticipating. I actually drafted Tony Pollard on my fantasy team because I thought it was kind of the end, of Zeke.
yeah,
He'll slowly fizzle out. But no, he looks really good.
yeah. He does. So I mean, I would try and trade for Jimmy, and I know we have some young receivers, but I mean, Mahomes doesn't have a lot of great receivers on his roster, but he still tears it up. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I also think that Atlanta and the Rams game is going to show a lot for both teams too. If week one was a fluke in either direction, like if Atlanta's going to be talented or if the Rams have really fallen off, because they're the same issue I was talking about with Mahomes. They
Mm-hmm.
have like 4 or 5 dudes taking up a large sum of the salary cap, and you can't win games consistently doing that because
Mm-hmm.
then you have to fill your roster out with subpar people. And you don't win football games with 5 people. You have to win in every single aspect.
Yeah, you gotta have balance across the field. I agree. Let's do one more prediction. I call this the shit bowl because it's just two shitty organizations.
Yeah,
The New York Jets versus the Cleveland Browns. Who you going with?
that is brutal.
That's a Thursday night game if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, that's a typical. I'll say the Browns.
Going
Ugh,
Browns.
yeah, I don't even have a lot to say there. That's just brutal. That's
Yeah,
a
I
tough.
know. Yeah, I don't even think if you live in Cleveland that they're gonna have that game on TV.
No.
So you went the Browns?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Browns.
I'm gonna go I picked the Jets, so there's another one. We'll do six.
All right,
Six
do
T news, six T booze. With the Browns. All right, man. Well, we got a minute. Let's just close it out right here. I appreciate you for coming on the show again. Always a pleasure. Keep doing your thing in your podcast. I'll leave link in the description underneath this episode. So if you guys want to check out Jonesing for Jones, go ahead and check them out. Good podcast. Talk to you a lot more about college football than I will. Great takes as well. Anything you want to say before you left?
No, man, thank you so much. It's really a blessing. So I appreciate you, and I love talking with you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been a lot of fun. Let's do it again.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. Jones for Jones. It's been real, man. You have a good one. Enjoy that Texas weather and good luck this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
All right, boss. I'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir. See you.
Yep.